Reptilians. There are numerous groups of humans, or humanoids, sharing planet Earth with us, and some of them live just below the surface of the planet in appropriate conditions, while others live in etheric planes, but also close to the human areas that we use. There exists a race of beings that have been on Earth, or close to it, for a long time. They can assume reptilian form if they wish, and can remain in 3D form for long periods. Equally, they can live in the etheric realms. Now, it is difficult to describe their true nature, as they are uncertain themselves of their origins and their place in the chain of life. Just like humans, some of them are friendly, and some not. Some are consumed with the quest for power, while others are just gentle and kind. The power-crazed ones are those that tend to manipulate the psychopathic beings that are often in positions of power and are themselves influenced by the archons. When describing the so-called reptilians, we need to distinguish fact from fiction. There has been much fake information perpetrated concerning them, which has infiltrated the collective wisdom and is accepted as fact when it is not so. Let us first say that there has been, throughout the long history of man, a number of different races, some of which survived and some of which have died out. Equally, there has been a number of mythical beings, resembling humans somewhat, that were never real, but that people consider used to live. Lastly, there are various creatures that live in the etheric and astral realms that people have seen from time to time and have become legend over the years. So, it is important to try to discern fact from fiction. With regard to reptilians, we wish to say that such a race does exist, but they do not necessarily have the powers that are sometimes attributed to them. The so-called reptilians are an ancient race that chose, like other races, to live apart from us humans, and so most of them live in the underground caverns, of which there are many not far under the surface of the earth. However, just like us humans, there are a number of different types, some friendly to us and some hostile, just as we find with humanity. We could say that they started out vaguely human, but that would not be exactly true. Many years ago, the directors of life, when they were experimenting with different life forms to inhabit the earth, discovered that the basic human shape gave the greatest possibility for successful living on the face of the earth. So, we have a variety of life forms with a head, body, 2 forearms, and 2 legs. Not only humans have this shape, but most mammals also follow this pattern, even though most animals found it easier to walk on all 4s. So, to return to the reptilians. They are one of the human-like life forms that were placed on Earth long years ago, and have survived living apart from other human life forms, us, for instance, thus avoiding any conflict with us, which could have resulted in their extinction, as was the case of the giants, and virtually all the human-like life forms, the skeletal remains of which are discovered from time to time, Neanderthal, for instance. Thus, they tend to live underground, and have avoided the extinction-level events that have rocked the planet Earth a number of times. This has given them the ability to develop the gifts of the spirit that we all have quiescent in us. So, they are attributed with having almost miraculous powers, telekinesis, teleportation, clairvoyance, and so on. Thus, if seen by us humans, they can seem to disappear at will, jump huge distances, and control the minds and bodies of humans. We draw a distinction between humans and reptilians, mainly to make an explanation easy, but we wish to stress that reptilians are a close cousin of us humans, and could, if they chose, interbreed with humans. However, they are a proud and arrogant race of beings that regard us as primitive, and tend to stay away from us. There are some of the more friendly ones that study us, rather as we study animals. At the other extreme, There are some who enslave some humans, rather as white people tended to enslave black people years ago. Lastly, it must be said that there are a psychopathic few, who overshadow wealthy and influential individuals for exactly the same reason that those humans, being psychopathic, control the masses. So, to recapitulate, there is this old race of beings that are basically human, that were created long ago, that live apart from us, and are much more advanced than us. They have exactly the same personalities as us, both good and bad. They do not look like us, but we could say the same about an Australian Aboriginal, compared to a European person. They have this vaguely reptilian look, some more than others, the result of eons of interbreeding, and also of living underground, but they are an offshoot of the human race, in many ways. Quite how their situation will resolve as we all move into God's light, remains to be seen.